everybody. Welcome back. It is episode 13 of PK's Place. Hope everyone is doing fantastic today. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So, a little thing I just wanted to update everyone on, programming wise, was obviously since I started taking some college classes and whatnot, the release date of each episode is going to vary basically on when I can get an interview and basically when I can chat with with the interesting people that I bring you on a weekly basis. So like this episode, I'm gonna hold it until regular Monday release date. But there's some episodes like last week or even down the road that may actually drop on Wednesday or Thursday. So just keep that in mind. If there hasn't been an episode when Monday rolls around, it's probably going to be coming later in the week. Also, obviously, it's September, so it kind of sucks that summer's gone. I had a very good summer personally, a lot of growth, a lot of good memories. So I hope everyone's summer was really good. And even if there were some parts of it that might not have been the best thing, there's always something you can take away from it, and there's always lessons to learn. So it's obviously just to make next summer better. Not that I'm thinking that far ahead, and it's just crazy how quick it goes by. I just remember it was the beginning of June, and I was about to hop on my plane to LA, and then now I kind of just blink and it's September. It's crazy how fast it goes. And I guess another thing was NFL football is back. And if you know me or have listened to any of my episodes, which I would hope you all have, I'm a fan of the NFL. I like watching NFL, especially just on a Sunday. It's an easy recovery day just to lay on the couch, lay in bed, and just watch Red Zone. So I was watching the Buccaneers and Cowboys, which luckily the Buccaneers won. Luckily for me, since I had a few Bucks members on my fantasy football teams. I'm in a few leagues, so not that anyone cares, but it was a good game. It's good that football's back, especially since last year started with no fans, as many sports did. So it was good to just see a full stadium in Tampa, obviously with the Bucks being the defending champs. So we'll see how they do. But yeah, it was an entertaining game, and looks like it's going to be a very good season. So today's interview is going to be with another friend of mine. It is Quinn Emerson, who's playing in the BCHL for the U.S. based team the Wenatchee Wild, and he played in Texas for Lone Star last year. Fun interview. We chatted for just a little under an hour. It talked about a lot of things. He is a little bit of a lookalike for a major actor. So we had some fun there. Yeah, without further ado, we're going to send it over to Quinn Emerson. Okay, so our next guest is currently playing his last year in the BCHL and is following in his father's footsteps by playing for Bowling Green State next fall. It is Quinn Emerson. What's going on, Quinn?
Hey guys, what's up, PK? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Just got back from a skate with a few of the guys. I think Jack Blake, you know that guy. So yeah, it was
hmm
pretty fun.
That's good. Yeah, Jack. I actually had Jack on last episode. We had a blast. It was a very good interview. He brought a lot of insight, and similarly to Jack, you're following in your father's footsteps, like I just mentioned, in playing for Bowling Green coming up. Actually, going in with Jack, was Bowling Green the main school you wanted to go to, or are there any other schools that had any interest in you?
Obviously, Bowling Green, like it was a huge honor when I first started talking to them, and my dad went there, so like I really want to go there. The college there, I visited, I loved it. Like right when I went there, and I just fell in love with it. So I decided to commit there, and I'm no looking back on it, and I'm really excited to go in next fall. So.
Yeah, good to hear. Do you know? I know it's a little early, but do you have like a major you're interested in, or you kind of just seeing where it goes?
Right now I'm taking like some classes just to get some credits done, but I'm really looking into business or sports management, something to do with that, I think.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with either ones. And similarly, what I talked about with Jack, for those that listened last week and tuned in, was Quinn also got to go to King's Development Camp. What can you speak about your experience at camp?
It was an unreal experience that like I'll never forget. Like a lot of kids don't get the opportunity to go, and obviously going to LA, it's where I'm from, like biggest fan growing up here. So unreal experience. Like I learned so much there. It was awesome.
How did you feel you compared or at least kept up against some of the higher end players? I know Jack mentioned like Byfield and Turk didn't get to play in the scrimmage because they had some different injuries or a surgery in Turk's case to attend to. So how do you think you compare it to some of the up and coming prospects they have?
Obviously the prospects were amazing, like Kupari, Madden, like so many guys out there, Dudas, and it was like like I was looking to my left and right, and I was playing with on a line with Kupari and Madden. So yeah, it was pretty unreal. It was like it just makes the game so much easier when you play with guys like that, and obviously like they're really good guys and really good players, and it was tough, but I think I hung in pretty well there.
Yeah, good to hear. It was the Kings have had they've been doing better in the prospect department. So I think that they have a bright future for years to come, especially already coming off of a few championships the past few years.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they're ranked number one right now in prospects, and it's no wonder why after skating with those guys. So
And someone you actually did not get to skate with was friend of the program, Arthur Kaliev, or as our guys know him as Bike Tyson. He wasn't there. I think he was still getting his second COVID vaccine. But yeah, you throw him in the mix too, and that's just another reason they're ranked number one.
yeah, for sure. That guy's a good guy. He's so good. I wish I got to play with him. He's an awesome guy. So
Oh, he's so funny, like away from the rink. At least when I first knew him, he's a man of everyone that doesn't know who Arthur Kaliev is. Very man of very few words. He does not talk a lot, but it's funny since like he's gotten in our group chat with like me, Igor, and a few other guys. He's probably one of the funniest guys in our chat. Like just like the things he'll throw in there and say it's honestly insane. Like he's really funny, but on the ice especially, I think it was the goal he scored against Finland in the World Juniors. Like Turk gave him a nice pass, and Finland just left him wide open in the slot, and you just can't do that because he's gonna go bar down like he did.
yeah, for sure. You described him perfectly. A man of few words. Like he loves saying like certain phrases. And, yeah, it just sticks with him for sure. Like he'll be saying it for weeks.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I haven't met that guy yet, but like playing some Xbox with him, yeah, he seems like a really good guy. So,
What
especially
yeah. What are you guys ripping on Xbox?
already recently I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but usually we play Call of Duty together, some Warzone. That was huge few months ago. So yeah,
Who's better, you or Bike?
uh, I would have to say me. Like I usually don't say that, but I don't know. I think I'm a little better than Bike.
So what do you think makes you better at Call of Duty than him? Other than probably obviously having a better kill to death ratio.
Probably me just playing too much first, and then I don't know. Honestly, like I think I have a little better game sense in that game than him. Maybe not hockey, but I got him in Call of Duty.
I know I know he's played like other video games. Like he's played like 2K and
Oh yeah.
FIFA. Do you think if you played him in like 2K or FIFA that he would just run your show, or do you think
Oh
you'd still
yeah.
beat him?
Yeah, he would run my show for sure. I'm not very good at the sports games. I don't know. I don't play too much of those yet. For sure, he'd run me though.
Yeah, I bet. So something I also brought up with Jack that I want to kind of get your perspective on was the fabled six-man volleyball tournament. What was your reaction to the whole weekend? And obviously, it's been talked about, and we talked about it last week, but especially with Josh getting his pants dropped by the kid.
Yeah, that was that was a pretty crazy weekend. Like just like to start off with, our parents actually played in the six man, so we just decided we're eating at El Sombrero. We saw it on the poster on the wall, so we're like, we got to play in this tournament. Came in, we uh we all played. There's about I think only 8 of us. Like none of us were good except for Parker Murray. He was pretty good, and everyone came over to watch our game. Like obviously it wasn't pretty embarrassing. Like one team started playing on their knees, and like it was really embarrassing. But and like so many people were watching us. Like they're just coming over. Obviously, like they're like kind of chirping Josh a little bit. So like we kind of gave it to him a little bit, like protecting our teammate. You know how it is with
Mhm.
hockey. Like just
Yeah.
your friends. That's like really important. So all those guys came over. We still protect. Like there was almost a few fights too. Like it was pretty ridiculous to be honest. Like we didn't deserve to be on the beach with those guys. Those guys were unreal. So, but it was an unreal experience. Like I would, we're for sure gonna do it again, and hopefully next year we'll protect Josh good enough so he doesn't get pantsed.
Yeah. So, like I said, obviously it looked like fun, but when you actually saw it go down, like the kid walking over and getting pants, what was your reaction to that? And especially seeing Josh just chase the kid down.
You know, I think that's like pretty messed up. Like that kid definitely deserved it. He honestly deserved more. Like Josh held back on him, and like you saw the video, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Like all the guys are like backing Josh up, and I don't know. Like I don't know. I think that's pretty messed up with the kid to do. Like you just shouldn't do that to a random person. Like you don't know, especially in front of a crowd like that. You're just embarrassing yourself at that point. I think so.
Yeah, for me, the main thing, I guess, why I wouldn't do that is, what if you go down and you like yank his drawers, but he's got nothing
Yeah, I
underneath?
know. Like maybe he wasn't wearing underwear, and like that's
Oh my
just so
God.
like disrespectful. So
Yeah, you just see his penis just hanging
yeah,
out.
that would for sure go viral and not in a good way. So
No, oh my goodness. And
I
I guess the thing I'm thinking about too is you see that there's like, well, you would say there were like little kids there, right? Just watching the
oh yeah, for
volleyball
sure.
too. So
There's so many people watching.
yeah, we don't need Josh becoming a sex offender
Yeah,
by accident just because someone yanked his pants down. And it's so I guess you did bring up the video, which was a funny video. Actually, on our pod's Instagram, I included the clip when Jack was explaining the story. So if anyone wants to go watch the video, check it out on the Instagram. It's there. And yeah, I told Josh, I mean, like I told Jack, I think Josh did a good job not beating him up because like I don't think Josh needs an assault charge, especially for a kid who did something as stupid as he did. Because I mean, the kid didn't need to do that, but I think Josh also was smart not to cave his face in.
yeah. Like that guy deals with so much stuff, man. Like there's just hecklers like trying to mess with them, and all they're trying to do is get his attention. Really, like just hanging out with them for a few days. Like it's so like I didn't realize how famous he was. Like just walking by, like people give those faces, like they know who he is, and like usually it's guys who try to like come up to him and start problems. Like there was like I remember one guy like he did it like 2 days in a row. Like he just follows around like everywhere and like try to start problems. It's just pretty ridiculous at that point, just trying to get his attention.
Yeah, man, I honestly don't understand what goes through these people's minds where they're like, wow, I see a celebrity right there. I'm gonna cause something. I'm gonna make a scene. It doesn't make any sense to me.
hmm that's how it was both days. Like, and yeah, it's just like pretty embarrassing at that point. Like they're just making fun of him, and then like we try to do something, they almost try to be our buddy with us and like try to hang out with us. Like that's like how it was for most of them, and like yeah, it was pretty bad to be honest. But he's a good guy, and like getting to know him, like yeah, he doesn't deserve any of that. So
Yeah, I don't think anyone does. And honestly, like you just told me that you just said that they would try to be like you, Jack, Parker, you try to be your guys, everyone else on the team's friend, but not Josh. Honestly, I know it's easier said than done, but I feel like you could see through that. At the very surface level, they're being two-faced. And I don't think you want any two-faced people hanging around you guys. So I think, and obviously, like if it were to happen even next year, if there was someone else, even like a friend of Josh's was playing too, who got a following like he does, you would just say, hey, you guys are two-faced, get out, like just
yeah,
scram.
hmm yeah, we definitely see through it too. Like especially when all these people just start coming up, like they try to be friends with us just to like get friends with Josh. Like it's pretty cool. Like so many people come up to him, but at that point it can just be like pretty annoying and like just dealing with that almost on a daily basis. So it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah, and I know you said you saw the six-man poster at a restaurant. Have you like so when you've gone, if you've got first question is have you gone to eaten with Josh? And second, if you have, do people try to come up to him and talk to him? Because I come from the mindset that if I see a celebrity at dinner, which I know you probably heard, but me and Igor and the guys we saw Polo G at dinner one night, like my rule is like I'm not gonna go talk to that person at dinner, because if I was in his shoes, I'm eating dinner, I'm having a good time, and then like someone comes up to you, it's just kind of annoying, even if the fan's a nice person. And like I don't want to hear any of these people that are gonna try to chirp us, being like, that's part of the job. Like, no, it's not. Like celebrities should be able to just enjoy their dinner and have a nice meal out and away from their home. So back to it. Have you eaten with Josh? And if you have, has anyone tried to come up and talk to him?
Yes, I have eaten with Josh a few times, and our spot's El Sombrero, so we go there all the time. And yes, like people do come up with them, and like if I was Josh, like in his shoes, like I couldn't handle that. But like Josh is just like a genuine guy. Like he'll talk to any fan or any person coming up to him, even when he's at dinner. Like I asked him about it, and like he's fine with it. Like for me, like it become a problem for me, but he just handles it so well, and like he's just such a professional with that. And he's honestly, like I said a few times, he's just a good guy. So
Yeah, that's good to hear. I was listening. I forget who Joe Rogan had on. It was a old episode I was listening to, and he was talking about he was at dinner with his family, like his kids were there, and like someone like tried to come up and like try to ask him for like an autograph or a picture or something, and Joe's kind of like, it's like, dude, I'm with my kids, like I'm trying to enjoy my family time. And it's tough because at the same time I understand that you want to be nice and you want to have your fans, you want to give you want to take a photo with them, you want to give an autograph, because if you don't, it's almost like they're going to have that story that you're an asshole, and that they just have that story that you're a bad person, when you're really not. You're just trying to enjoy the little amount of privacy while in public that you have.
for sure. Uh,
It's Go ahead, sorry.
oh no, no, you go ahead. I didn't mean to break you off like that.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, I give Josh all the credit, and so I guess also I talked to this about Jack, but I figure I get your perspective. You did play in that SoCal 4-on-4 championship game. Now you guys you lost, but
Yeah.
it happens. So I wonder how you ended up on Team Orange away from all your friends, because I looked at the rosters when I was out there, and seeing Team White, I'm like, this makes sense why Team White's all together, because obviously it was Jack, Brendan, St. Ivany, Igor, Goof, Ron. Like it was just all the guys that like we would interact with. So it just made sense. And then seeing you were on Team Orange, I'm like, what happened here?
Yeah, I was on. I hang out with Matthias Scholl. He was on Team Orange. Like he was unreal behind the net. But yeah, there's just a draft. I think the GMs were Metcalf and Sansbury, and I played against both those guys in juniors, so they know me a little bit. So I didn't know I was gonna get drafted them. I thought for sure I'd go to White, but getting drafted the Orange, it was like really cool getting to know a new group of guys. And I played with a bunch of guys that are playing professional hockey, college hockey. So it's good to see what their how they went through it and their past. So getting to know them was unreal, and I wouldn't change it. And I love playing against my own friends, and I wish we could have beat them, because that would have been the biggest bragging rights ever. But it was too bad. And
Mm.
I'm not gonna say anything, but maybe I am. But one of the goals got called off, and I'm just gonna say it was for sure a goal, but all the parents said no because they're Team White's parents. But I don't know. We'll see next year. I think next year it will be run pretty well, and there will just even be better players and a better atmosphere in it too, and hopefully grow the game a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw there was a good turnout first off. And yeah, like I was like you even saw with the exposure, anytime Josh's name was thrown in there, like the post just went crazy. Like, especially because Josh would repost it, and a lot of his followers, since he's got millions of them, would go like that post. Like I know the account didn't have that many followers, and they had like a few thousand likes. So stuff like that was pretty cool. And I mean, what do you think went wrong for Team Orange there? Did you just think that Team White was too stacked?
There was just like we were winning to go into the third. I don't know if you knew that. I think we were
Oh,
winning.
I saw that. Yeah, because they who is it? I think it was your teammate. Was it Rivera? He was doing like a takeover of an account,
Yep.
like a college hockey account. So I was following it along, like
Yeah.
when it happened in real time.
Basically, in the third period, I think we were winning by 1 or 2, and they scored 2 goals within the first 30 seconds. Like I don't know what happened. Then obviously that turned it down, and then it just kind of got ugly from there. Like honestly, I had a chance to. So they called off our goal. I don't, I don't know why the ref Drew Veaton was just getting like reamed at by like people, so I kind of felt bad. Like
Hmm.
and and also like Team Orange also had like or not Team Orange, sorry, Team White. They had like 4, I think, not breakaways just from like called penalties. We didn't get one, and what else happened? And at the end, like I could have tied it. Like I had a backdoor, like, and I just missed it one timer, and then they went down and scored on the empty net. So I don't know. There's that we could have won it, but next year I think it will be real even better and like better competition. So it'll be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was the first year, so I think it can only go up from here, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the league goes. Are you guys thinking of having it at Toyota Sports Center next year, or would you rather it be at the same rink it was in the Valley?
Uh, I'd love to have it at Toyota Sports Center, not only because I live there, just like I think that facility is awesome. Like, I think most of the games will be on the pond ice just to start off, and then the final SoCal game will just be on the NHL. And it was pretty cool though. Like Team White, like obviously Josh, like he made a YouTube video with them, and like they all came in wearing wife beaters and stuff, and yeah, like and then they had a trainer too warming them up. They looked dialed, like they were a good team. Like even if on paper, like you just look at them, like 3 NHL draft picks, a bunch of NCAA D1s, and then us. Like we're all good, a bunch of college players, but like even like pro too. So I thought we could have won, but their team was really good too. I gotta give it to them.
Yeah, they had a stacked team, and those who want to see the behind the scenes of that game, like Quinn just mentioned, Josh did upload a YouTube video, I think like a few weeks ago. So go check that out. That's on his YouTube channel. Well, like, did you like see them walk into the rink like that? Because I thought it was like I loved it. I thought anytime you can have a team theme and dress up in a fun, goofy way, I think that's great.
Yeah, I loved it too, especially just for like like that league. Well, obviously you want to do it like in a real game, but yeah, I love having that little goofy thing, and they had a little goofy theme. Their coaches that wore suits, and even our coaches they wore like jean jackets and sunglasses, so they look good too. And I just think it makes it that much better when like even guys who aren't playing are having fun. And
Yeah, and there were chirps before you get back to it. There were some chirps thrown your coach's way. I think in the video, Josh is like, "What are you
oh
guys wearing?" And they're like, "Canadian tuxedo."
yeah, there were for sure chirps. Like even like it got pretty intense. Like Brisson, like I didn't chip it, but the puck went by him, and then I was right next to the boards, and he angled me off into the stanchion, so it kind of got me pretty mad. And it's even in Josh's video. It's annoying, but like I go try to kill Brendan. There's kind of no hitting, but the game was kind of getting chippy, and he reverse hit me, just like murdered me.
Hmm.
And then a kid on Team White comes over to me and like cross checks me in the face like 3 times, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? But like he's a good buddy of mine. Like it was like pretty funny, and then I was surprised I didn't get a penalty shot after that, but that's just happens, I guess.
Yeah, you could just chalk it up to the officiating that whole game.
Yeah, but it was so fun. There were chirps, there were hits. It was like decent hockey too, but I was so gassed. Like 4-on-4, like only like probably 4 forwards. So like you just kept on, or 6 forwards total, like 4 on the bench, and you just kept on going and going, and it got pretty tiring once it hit the third. But it was so fun, and I can't wait to do it next year.
Oh, absolutely. So you mentioned Brendan. So obviously you grew up playing with Brendan, and obviously you seen him getting drafted by Vegas. How happy were you for him seeing him not only get drafted, but did you have any idea like if he was going to go in the first round, and if even where?
Um, I knew he was gonna go in the later first or top second, and I was watching the draft, obviously, not only for Brendan, but I know a lot of guys who got drafted that year. And yeah, he's my teammate, and I was trying to support him as much as I can. And my dad actually texted me. He's like, I think Vegas is really interested in Brendan. And then I know Brendan was getting nervous because, like, I can't even imagine, like, you're going to end the first round, you got all your family there and your teammates, and like he was really expecting to go first round. So when he got his called up name, I bet that just called his name. It just relieved so much pressure on his shoulders, and having that with your experience with your family and your teammates must be so unreal. I couldn't imagine. And I'm just so happy that he went to a team like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's gonna do really well once he gets to the pro level. And obviously, especially this year with Michigan, I mean, that Michigan team is looking really, really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of his games and how he does. But yeah, I mean, like what a guy, like what a personality to go to Vegas.
Yeah, he's a perfect guy for that. I remember you beat him in some one-on-ones though in the summer though. So Vegas has
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
You remember
100%.
you
Yeah.
scored a few times, I think, against him. Like you were dominant. I remember at least one time.
Yeah, no,
You
that was
I know you remember that.
oh no, I do. Yeah. It was no, that was a fun skate. I mean, anything to get better. I mean, Brennan's obviously going against Brendan, like I want to play him as hard as I can, being, him being a really good player. And no, I definitely remember that. So book him and give me a call. But yeah, Brendan, yeah, and then obviously I can just imagine some of the chirps that he was throwing you because he's obviously not a quiet guy on the ice. He can throw a few chirps here and there.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely was chirping me, but on the ice. But yeah, it's all in fun though. We're all good buddies off the ice. On the ice, we're not friends, obviously. Like different teams, it's a different mindset in hockey. So, but after the game, we all went out to eat, like talked about it, had fun, had a few laughs, and we were just talking about it how we can't wait for it to happen next year.
Oh, absolutely. So you also played, like I said, you're playing in Wenatchee and you played in Lone Star in Texas. Do you have any funny stories while you were playing in Wenatchee?
While I was playing in Wenatchee or Lone Star.
Let's go Wenatchee first.
Okay, funny stories in Wenatchee. One good story is my buddy Houston Cartman.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Huey, he was
there's
team white member. Yeah.
there's a few funny stories, but I'll tell this one. Like before that, there's this guy named Landon Fuller. He's like the toughest guy in the BCHL, and this is Huey's probably second or third junior game. He decides he wants to fight him. uh, on the draw, like you need to watch it, but like on the draw, you just see him. He asks Fuller, "You want to fight?" The guy just looks at him, starts dying laughing, and then right when the puck drops, Huey slashes his ankle as hard as he can, and then they line up like then he throws his gloves on, and the guy is looking at him like he wants to kill him, and then they're lined up, fought. Huey had a pretty good. He won it, I think, and he's on top, and then he has a few photos on Instagram. He tagged McGregor, like he was pumped about it. And that guy, I'm pretty sure, because later that week, a player on that team got traded to us, and I asked about it. He punched a hole in the wall
Oh
because
my
so
goodness.
rattled that he lost a fight against the Houston Cartman. So, yeah, that's a really good story. But there's so many stories, but I don't think I could share them too. Like,
No, that'd be off camera. You could share
yeah,
him off camera, but man, yeah, getting to know Huey this summer. He's a very funny guy. And I guess the other story I was gonna ask you if you wanted to share was what was the deal with Huey not being able to train with your boy Rypen?
He's fun. He's a fun time, and sometimes he's too much fun. And I don't know. I think it finally crossed paths, and he went over to I think goal line, so he's just working out there. And yeah, I don't know. Something happened. I don't really know the full story, but yeah, he used to work with Rypen for a long time, and now he's like goal line.
Yeah, I think the story how it was explained to me was he like showed up late to he showed up late to a workout and Rypen's like, Huey, where the hell were you? Like, why are you late? And And he was like, "Oh, I was so and so last night. There were milfs and shit there."
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And
He's like, "You disrespected my gym, my culture."
uh-huh. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And it was hard for Ryan, but he did what's the best for Carp, and I think he will probably be back in the lab soon. So probably next year.
Absolutely. So you are someone who obviously puts in work in the lab.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of meeting Raipen, and what can you speak about his work, especially working with you while in the lab?
Raipen, like he just like I came in this summer, he told me I look small and like the first day I came in because I worked out with him last summer and like I was like he called me a beast and like I felt really good and then coming in this summer he saw how small I was and like he asked what happened and I have a hard time maintaining weight. I think a lot of people do, but yeah, I came in this summer and like now it's coming to an end, but like I feel amazing. Like I put up big numbers in the gym, so like passing like my all-time highs, and I feel good on the ice, stronger, faster, and Raipen's right. He knows what he's doing, so I hope it's gonna translate on the ice, and I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, Raipen, he's awesome, and I should mention I'm planning on having him on next week. Anything you'd like me to share before I talk to him next week?
You're gonna have to get back to me on that one. I
Oh,
can't
I
believe.
will. That's fine. I'll text you next week. I
Yeah,
will, I will definitely text you next week.
yeah. I also have a funny story about Cartman.
Let's hear it.
This is the craziest junior hockey game I think I've ever played. So this is in the Null South. The Null South is like a lot. I think probably the toughest league I've ever played in.
Oh,
I went.
it's like like they talk about the NAL, like the North American League being the trenches. I think the trenchiest part of the trenches is the South.
Yeah, the South. South's the biggest trenches. It's funny, but my dad told me it reminded him of old time hockey because like there are some line brawls, there's some stuff like I've never seen before. So like this is like one of the craziest games I've ever played. It's against Cartman's team, the Amarillo Bulls. Now I'm on Lone Star. So the games so like we started off good, like hot, like their goalie wasn't playing too good to be honest, but like it was probably 5-0. And then our coach called a timeout when they iced it. I don't know why. So Carp's coach said to his players, "Who wants to go on the ice right now and like fight, basically?" And it was like the most gong show thing I've seen. So they dropped the puck. It was our first line out there, and then a bunch of guys who like basically fight. They all grabbed each right off the draw. Everyone grabbed someone. It was a line brawl, and our coach pushed a guy off our bench, like our toughest guy, and they fought the Amarillo's toughest guy, and it was nuts. That guy obviously got suspended. He got suspended for about like 6 games for jumping off the bench. You can't do that, but it was the most nuts thing I've ever seen. Like I'm pretty sure you can see it on what's it called?
Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam. Vietnam probably had it, and then yeah, that was the most nuts game I've ever played. And that's not even to end it. Me and Carp slashed our goalie. I dropped the gloves on Carp, but he looked at me and started laughing at me because he probably would have pumped me honestly. But I don't know
Mhm.
what happened. Like just when you're in a game, like lines cross and like it's just like adrenaline basically. And I don't know why. I just dropped my gloves real quick. I didn't do anything, but he just looked at me, started laughing. What are you doing? But yeah, that guy was nuts, man. He was like yelling at our coach, like, send your toughest guy on the ice. And so he ended the game with about 60 penalty minutes. Like,
Jesus.
and he kept on playing some. He was supposed to be off the game, but he kept on playing throughout the whole game. It
Mhm.
made no sense. But yeah, that was the most nuts game I've ever played.
Did you guys end up winning then? I
Yeah, we
assume.
killed them that game, like 6-1, 7-1. Like, but then the next game they beat us. Carp was suspended, but yeah, like there were definitely a few games like that, but that was by far the most intense game I've ever played.
Were you was that at home or was that in Amarillo?
That was at home, so like the fans love that stuff, especially in Texas. So it's just a game down there. It's super structured and super defensive and super tough. So if you're not tough, you won't do well in that league.
Oh, 100%. How was it? How was it playing hockey in Texas? Obviously, I know you come from California, but how was it being in Texas, especially Lone Star's in the, it's like a suburb of Dallas. So basically playing in Dallas.
Oh, like it's probably the best area to play junior hockey. I'm in it's called North Richland Hills. It's like perfect suburb, like and I'm right now about 30 minutes from Fort Worth, about 30 minutes from Dallas. So like there's like under like after practice, we'd always go out to eat. Like there's food options everywhere. Like in a smaller town, that'd be tough, but there's everything. Like so on downtime, you can go golfing. The weather's always nice. Uh, you can go paintballing, like movies, like everything was open too. Like with COVID, like it wasn't really a thing there. It was like 100% capacity for everything, no mask. It was like it was almost a different world. It was like pre-pandemic. It felt it was pretty nice, and I loved it there. The weather was awesome, except when it snowed and I was out of power for about 3 or 4 days, which was tough. And yeah, living there was unreal, and it was definitely probably the best spot in junior hockey to play, area wise. Yeah.
Yeah, let's dive into that real quick. So, as for anyone, I feel for anyone that's unfamiliar, I feel like everyone should be at this point, but there was a stretch this past like this year, earlier this year during the winter where Texas and a few other of these southern states that really never get any snow, they got snow. And because they're in warm places and they're not used to getting snow, it's like people just were losing their minds. They didn't know what to do. And like Quinn said, they had no power. So, what was your first reaction to the snow, especially not really seeing much of it being in California, but what was kind of going through your mind, especially as it like, day one, two, and three passed with no power?
Well, I asked my billets. They said it hasn't done that in about 15 years. So, and it was a bad storm. Like, we didn't practice for the first, I think, only one day we didn't practice, and that was because like that was like probably the first day. It was ice, black ice. Like I was driving and I stopped about 30 feet from the stop sign, and I had no control. I was just going forward. Like it's just those moments are scary, and like my truck's not meant for it. It's just two-wheel drive, and when I was sleeping, I slept in full clothes. The power just shut off. Like I was like doing on my computer, and then like everything just goes boom, like off. And I thought it was only gonna be for an hour. Like I thought they were doing that on purpose, but it lasted about 3 or 4 days. And then I'd go to the rink and charge my phone actually. And I when I slept, I could see the air, like I could see my breath. And I was fully clothed, had about 20 blankets on me, just trying to keep warm. Like it was definitely like surreal, like how that could happen, really, like especially nowadays. But my billet actually got another house and it had power, so we went over there for the next 2 nights. So I was pretty lucky. Some people like had no power, no water. It was pretty tough, but we still played on the weekend. You bet we did, and we played against New Mexico twice, I think. And there's no power anywhere else, but in the Dallas Stars didn't play, but we did. So it was pretty
Wow.
interesting. And the rink was freezing because they just left the door open, the where the Zam was. So it was just freezing cold. Like your hands were so like it would hurt when you'd shoot the puck. So but it was fun. It was definitely an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, that whole thing was bizarre, and I think it kind of perfectly encapsulates the North American League. It's like, well, the NHL team's not playing. Suck it up, you guys are.
Yeah, we were all so surprised when that happened, but honestly, like it was well worth it because we got some weekends off because of it, and uh, it was like it was fine. Like everyone got to the game safe. There's nothing bad that happened. I was just surprised New Mexico because they're driving 12 hours. I'm surprised they got in, especially when their roads weren't very good.
Yeah,
And
the
all.
the thing about the black ice too, I guess that's for anyone that obviously lives somewhere warm like Quinn, where they don't have to deal with that. Black ice is so scary because it's not it like you'll drive down and you just like Quinn said, you lose control of your vehicle. And honestly, that's where if you don't have enough spacing between you and the car in front of you, I'm sorry, you're gonna rear end someone. It's just not safe. And that's the thing, like driving in the snow, from my experience, it's not terrible, but when it's icy, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than driving in the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a car in front of me, and like the car wasn't moving either, and I was just laying down my horn just to try to get it to go. But I was really close to hitting it, and I'm happy I didn't, obviously.
Yeah,
I was, yeah, I
good.
even got stuck at a red light for about five minutes because I couldn't go. Like I was really stuck in ice. Like I would reverse and I was stuck, forward I was stuck, and I was stuck there for about 5 minutes, and it was like one of the most annoying things I've done. So
Yeah, that sucks. What did you? So I know you said your billet family had a second house they went to that you guys were able to go to. So like, what did you do for like food then, or even like what do people do for food if they can't really even like cook, they can't use the stove, they can't use the microwave, they can't like prepare their own food, and obviously I don't think really many restaurants were probably even that open either.
that was the biggest thing I was worried about, especially before a game, because like you can't use anything. Like I think the most you could use, I think you could use a gas stove, but I don't know. It was really tough, honestly, because even restaurants were closed. Like I was just, I honestly don't know. Like my buddy would just make a sandwich, basically. Like that's all you could do.
Hmm.
You could just like make sandwiches and chips, and it's definitely not easy. And I'm happy like my my billet brother got another house with power, so we were really lucky. He got an Airbnb actually, and it was pretty nice. So I just went over there and we cooked food, and it was perfect. I don't know what you do, honestly. Like, it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah, especially like I said, Texas and all these other southern states, they're not really prepared for weather like that. So when weather like that does happen, it's just a shock. There's just really not much infrastructure that's in place for you to do anything.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's wild.
a long show.
No, it really is. No, it is. So I guess going back to Wenatchee, you played with a kid we both know, Brian Adams. What do you have any stories of Brian when you played with him in Wenatchee?
Well, actually, Brian Adams was my roommate in Wenatchee. So
No way.
yeah, he was our captain too. I love Brian. Like he taught me so much. Like he was a hard leader. Like everyone respected him, and he was a good player too. Like he had like I think 20 goals, maybe more, and uh, there were some definitely good. I can't think of any good stories right now, but I even had that guy down this summer too because he goes to Air Force now, so he came down for a few days, and he was pretty he's pretty rattled that I we all get to just skate and then just go to the beach right after, and he's like, wow, this life sucks, huh? But he was obviously he was pretty jealous. So but yeah, Brian was a great roommate. Like he honestly taught me a lot how to become a leader, and hopefully I can like apply those. And he honestly taught me to be a better person too. So me and him would always go on the ice early, like leave last and work on little stuff together. And uh, yeah, living with that guy was awesome.
Yeah, and he's also, it's funny, he's from Northern California, which like people think obviously like LA is a different world, but then you get up to like Sanford, like the Bay Area, and yeah, like it's like they just don't go to the beach there. They still enjoy the weather, they still do things to enjoy the weather, but there's just something in Southern California where you can actually just go to the beach after, which I'm a big fan of personally.
Yeah, great.
And yeah, funny, like so like how I know Brian is we played the same minor hockey club. He was playing under 18, I was playing under 16, and where he was like billeting, we went to the same high school, so he would be able to give me rides to the rink in his
Oh
yeah
yeah,
in
his red little car,
his little red car, not really the best car. Sorry, Brian. Not,
dude.
but
Yeah, no,
he knows it's not the best. And
he
yeah, like we
is
would
the best.
no, he knows. And yeah, so he would give me rides to the rink. No, he was obviously a good guy. It was good obviously getting to know him, and yeah, I'm very appreciative that I had someone that was able to do that because I obviously didn't have my driver's license yet. I got it that summer. So obviously if I had a car, I would definitely return the favor. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to, enjoy some car rides because our car rides were like they were long. They were like 30 minutes
Oh, really?
to play. Yeah, we lived a little bit from where we played, but yeah, it was a fun time. Obviously, it was good getting to know them and things like that. But
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to mention was real quick. So for those that are watching on YouTube, because the audio listeners won't be able to see this. So when I was in LA this summer, as I've brought up a lot, we hung out with Quinn and someone made an offhanded comment. I forget who it was that they're like, "Yo, you look like Matt Damon."
Oh, yeah. I don't. You know what's funny is my teammate last year called me Matt Damon. I texted that guy. I don't know where he got it from, but I don't think I look anything like that guy. But now it's funny. You can keep going off the story. I just had to say that.
No, no, I appreciate you interjecting. Yeah, I'm looking at Quinn on Zoom right now for this interview, and I can I can kind of see it. It's mainly in like the cheek a little bit, like the
Yeah.
lower part of the face. Not really as much the eyes, but it's mainly
Yeah.
like from like the cheekbones to the jawline and the nose. But no, it's just funny. Do you have a favorite Matt Damon movie by chance?
Uh, it's the one. Uh, it's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio's in it
The
too.
Departed.
Yeah, I love that movie. I'll watch that a few times. That movie's good. And
Movie's
then
awesome.
what's it called? The one. How,
Good
Good
Will
Will
Hunting.
Hunting.
Yep.
Yeah, and then obviously, is it, oh,
Are you gonna say The Martian next?
yeah, Martian's good too. He's in so many movies. Like I could list off a ton, but yeah, I love Good Will Hunting and The Departed.
I think it's funny that you bring those two up because not only are those two of his better performances, but those movies are such Bostonian movies, especially that's where he grew up, and just the fact that that's where those movies take place too, and that he gets to kind of unlock his true masshole self. Which, for those that don't know what a masshole is, it's basically referring to someone who's from Massachusetts and is a little kind of rough around the edges a bit. I mean, they have the accent like we're going to Harvard. They have the accent, but yeah, he's so good in both those movies, and it's just funny you picked two movies where he's from,
Yeah,
which is great.
yeah. That now it sticks with me all the time. Like, right when I see Igor Larionov and Brisson, they always call me Matt Damon, and I don't even know. They just always do to mess with me, but so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they those two guys are so funny. They do let you know for sure. And so I know I mentioned this earlier, but so obviously your dad played in the league, had a good career, played at Bowling Green. I asked Jack this last week, so I want to ask you too. What's some of the best advice your dad has given you for hockey, like during your career?
Um, One thing he's always taught me is to be a good teammate and to compete. And honestly, those two simple things, and obviously being coachable, those two simple things not only help you in hockey but in the real world. Because if you don't do those two things, you won't get anywhere. So that's what you always have to do when you play hockey, when you do school, whatever you do. You got to be compete and be a good person or be a good teammate.
Yeah, I
That's
think and sorry, before I go back to you, I think the other thing too is like you said, being coachable, and I think everyone listening should obviously apply those things to their life, and especially let's take sports out of it because obviously sports you're going to work with a team. There's different personalities, but I think the one thing that sports does a great job of is it prepares you for that when you're out of the sport because it doesn't matter if you stop playing after high school or even when you're retired from the pros when you move on to your next career, you're going to have to work with people. So it's developing those team working skills because there's times, and I know some people aren't going to like this, what I'm going to say, but there's times when you're in your field that there's people that won't like you. And you have to be adult enough to say, you may not like me and I may not like you, but we're adult enough and we respect each other enough that we're going to still work together. So I think that's a great point that your dad brings up.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I think you always run into people that don't like you a lot, and I think just being a listener and being respectful is like the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, especially like listening, because there's enough people out there, and they basically think that they know everything, and that they're just not really wanting to learn anything else, and they're kind of just fine with where they're at. But if you're coachable, you're at least for me, being coachable means you're open-minded, you're open to people being able to help you and make you a better person, player, student, whatever it is. So I think having an open mind is a really good thing. And especially as our world keeps changing, having an open mind is very important, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Like if you don't have an open mind and you're know-it-all, you won't get anywhere. So
And here's the thing about know-it-alls, because I think that's a great point you just made. Um, like if you're a know-it-all and you had all the answers when you were when you were younger, if you had all the answers, well, I'm sorry, you're not learning anything. You're not growing. Like if you have all the answers, honestly, if you had all the answers, I think that would be boring. I
yeah,
really stand by that, because not only life's too short, but life's about learning new things, pushing yourself. You're going to fail a few times. You're going to get in trouble, but getting in trouble and having a setback, those are learning opportunities so that you can learn and then succeed. So I think for people that are afraid of obviously getting in trouble, and I don't mean like in trouble meaning like you go, commit a crime or a serious crime, but obviously meaning like, get in trouble like with your parents and things like that. I just think to myself, one, I'm going to learn, and two, it might be a funny story down the few years later. So I think you should do it. You should try to grow.
yeah, for sure. Like if you think about everything you've learned, you probably failed at it first. For at least that's me. Like I think failure is like the biggest thing that will help you to succeed. So that and not quitting. So yeah.
Absolutely. So a game I wanted to play with you is we're gonna call it's the word I'm gonna call it it's lame name, but the word game. So it's word association. So I'm gonna tell you a phrase, like a word, and I want you to think of and everyone at home could play along too. I want you to think of the first word that pops in your head, or if it's a phrase, you could say a phrase. So
Okay.
first two, we're gonna start off pretty simple. So we're gonna go hockey.
Yeah. Is that it?
Well, yeah, it's like a one word,
Oh,
like
okay. Yeah, I got
what
it. I got
pops in
it.
your head. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Hockey. McDavid.
It's a good answer. I'm going to say for hockey, I'm going to say way of life. So why do you say McDavid? Obviously, it makes sense, but
Honestly, that's just the first guy I could think of just skating around the ice. So that's what came up with first in my head.
that's fair. I think for me, why I say way of life is because I just think hockey has given, at least me, and I know for you, it's given us almost like a new kind of purpose where obviously like it gives our, like when we work out and we train off the ice, it gives our workouts purpose, because a lot of people, they work out just so they can look good, and obviously everyone wants to look good, but when we work out or other people work out, it's so that there's performance on the ice is better. So I just think obviously, you love the game, it'll love you back, kind of thing. Next one is beach.
Volleyball.
It's a good, I was gonna say, I think beach, I think California, I think I just think of the great beaches, like you obviously like Manhattan, Hermosa, Santa Monica, Malibu. And obviously beach volleyball is a good answer. And you're saying that just because obviously you play a lot of beach volleyball.
Yeah. That's pretty much why we always play it after hockey. When we go to the beach, we at least get a couple of games in, and it's super competitive. And we're like guys are almost competitive in everything, and it can get pretty heated too sometimes.
Mhm. Absolutely. Legacy.
You go first. How do you think?
Okay. I'm gonna say the phrase for me is I would say for me, I would say building. Like you want to build a legacy. And part of the reason I even asked this is because obviously like you're following in your father's footsteps and playing at the same school. So it's almost like you're kind of like you're following his legacy in the sense that you're gonna take on the similar role he did. And I think everyone just wants to build a legacy because obviously that's what usually is remembered of someone is their legacy when they're long gone.
I'm gonna go with it's kind of adding or copying onto you. Just like creating, like everything you do is like creating onto your legacy. Like working out, like you said, you're trying to become a better hockey player, and all those little things you do like add up. So that's gonna be my word.
Mhm. All right, this next one is I think rather funny. Matt Damon.
The Departed or Quinn Emerson.
I'm gonna say Goodwill Hunting. Yeah, I think Goodwill Hunting for me. When I think of him is obviously that's a movie where he kind of came on the scene, especially this. There's a scene in the bar where he's talking about. He's like, oh, he basically puts that guy in his place where he's like, oh, what do? You just like you skim off the internet like for these captions and for these, you just read a page of the textbook, just try to impress some girls at the bar. And then obviously, when he eventually gets, I think it's Skyla's number, played by Minnie Driver, he's like, hey, do you like apples? Well, I got her number. How do you like them apples? Like, it's a classic line, really organically,
Uh-huh.
really organically said. And then even I think the scenes with him and Robin Williams are great, especially like whenever weird thing, but whenever someone texts me something and I know it's like not their fault, I send them the gif of Robin Williams where he's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So obviously Departed makes sense, but we'll still hear uh your reasoning.
Oh yeah, The Departed for that's just like one of the movies I love for him. Like I already said that, but yeah, watching that movie and just like there's so like at the end of the movie, you're just like, did that just happen? Like
Mhm.
for people who haven't seen it, like I bet most of you have, but the ending was just ridiculous, like insane. Like so much happens, and you just would never think that would happen. So yeah.
Are you talking about when like the rat scurries on the balcony? Because I was like, did that just happen? Did we just see a rat scurry
Well,
away? Which isn't spoiling anything, but
yeah. Well, I'm talking about like the elevator scene, like that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
And,
Yeah.
and then he goes down, and obviously, yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
That's
If you
pretty much.
if you think about it, and anyone who's seen Good Will Hunting will know, Matt Damon's character is a scumbag in that movie. He is not a good person. I mean, obviously he's double-sided, and it's just crazy that no one obviously has any suspicions about him. But yeah, he's not really a great person in that movie, to kind of put it mildly.
He's definitely not a good guy in The Departed either, but he
Well,
was
that's what I
great.
mean in the movie. Yeah, in the movie, like his
Yeah.
character. Yeah, he's not his character. What I'm trying to think what his character's name was. It's escaping me right now. But yeah, he's great in the movie as an actor, but like his character, like just everything he's done, and it's just not good. And then before we let me here, I'm actually looking it up what his character's name is. Here, let me see. It's Colin Sullivan. Yeah, Detective Sullivan. He's a scumbag. So the last one, the first word pop in your head, brother.
Blake. That's my twin brother.
I'm gonna say lifelong friend. So obviously Blake, you have your brother Blake. What does he mean to you? What's any fun memories with Blake?
Uh, there's just so many memories, and like some of them are pretty crazy. Like I'm just thinking about one. Like this is like a completely random one. Like not even like a great memory, but we're at the Lake Erie, at Jack's house. We're on Sea-Doos, and I was on a stand-up paddleboard, and they were both circling me in a Sea-Doo, which is like really dumb because they could easily hit me, and that's exactly what almost happened. Blake was coming straight at me, full speed, and then I yelled his name, Blake, and then he looks at me, his eyes wide and wide and open, like I've never seen before, like realizing he could hit me and like kill me here. And he
Hmm.
like, turns and like was probably about 2 or 3 feet away from just absolute like killing me basically. But yeah, like that's just like one little memory. But there's like so many things that happen on a daily basis. Like you said, lifelong friend. Like I could really just go over to his room right now and say, let's go to the beach, or let's play some video games. Like, and he'll always do it. So
Yeah, I just think having like as a guy having a brother, or even I guess you could say as like a sister, if, as a girl if you have a brother. But I just think having a brother is great. I mean, there's especially as a guy, there's so many fun things you could do, and so many things. There's a lot of horsing around that goes on, and yeah, it's just someone that most people are close with. Most guys are close with their brothers if they have one, and yeah, I think it's obviously I think it's someone you're gonna have around forever. So I think there's a lot of good memories that come from having a brother personally.
mhm.
So I guess also last thing I wanted to say, two things was, where can everyone find you on social media to keep tabs on you with Wenatchee?
Um, my social media is just on at underscore Quinn Emerson, and I don't post too much, but I post like every once in a while, and I mostly just post probably hockey and with my buddies too. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's fair. And then second question is, who would you like to see me bring on the pod?
Uh Houston Cartman.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Huey would be really funny. Oh my goodness, yeah. Just thinking of some of the stuff that we like you just talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny. And obviously, I know you obviously would have thought of saying Pen, even though I
Yeah.
already dashed it saying that I got him on for next week, which will be funny. And obviously, I'm gonna give you some stories and ask you for some things about him to talk about. But yeah, it'll be funny. So Quinn, it was good having you on. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me out.
No problem. Okay, big thanks, Quinn Emerson, for joining the program. Always good to chat with people that you know, and we had a lot of good times, even if he is kind of getting sick of being called Matt Damon, for lack of a better term. A little note: next week's episode or interview, at least that I'll tease, is a very good guy. He's a trainer. He not Kevin, sorry. I'll have to get Kevin from GLP on at a later date. I think that would be a good one. But no, it's a trainer that works with Quinn and Igor. So I think everyone's going to like that one. If anyone has obviously any questions or anything you want to know about me, feel free to obviously send me a DM on Instagram, or just obviously leave comments on the account. I'm almost done with my podcast website, so I'm gonna make sure there's a tab for people to leave questions, leave comments, just ask me what you want to know, just about life in general, or even like show related, I'll say. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that out. So I think that'll be nice to say the least. Yeah, just feel free to do that. Um, as always, make sure that you go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just basically like wherever you would get your podcast, follow it, turn the bell on so that you're notified whenever I drop a new episode. On Apple, especially, leave a 5-star review, leave a comment. I like going through those. I like seeing them. I mean, obviously, the nice ones are appreciated, but even if it's one where there's a little constructive criticism, I'm always open to that and I'll take a look at it. Follow the podcast Instagram at PK's Place Podcast, and follow my personal Instagram, which is p.hughes15. Hope everyone has a good rest of the week and the weekend, and stay safe out there and just be yourself.